Let's cut these Converse in half and see if we can answer the 3 questions about Converse. Why are they so uncomfortable? Are these really 100% cotton canvas uppers? And why do buff dudes like Joe Rogan like lifting in these? We're getting really close to that 100,000 subscriber mark, and we're gonna be cutting open the $1,000 pair of Jordan sneakers. And I'm working on getting the Patreon set up, so let me know what you guys wanna do for like the different reward tiers, if you have any good ideas. I do have just like a 1 tier set up already there's no reward. It's just a tier for anyone who wants to help support the channel and help funding of the various boots and shoes that I have to buy. So if you're feeling generous, I put the link in the description. But if you don't want to support on the Patreon, you can also like and subscribe and comment and help out that way. So now let's get to the Converse. So these are the black high top Chuck Taylor All-Star Converse. There's like 1,000 names for them. I just call them Chucks. I think most people just call them Chucks or Chuck Taylors. These are $55 on their website. They are made in Vietnam. They've got a canvas upper with a vulcanized rubber sole. And these were first designed in 1917 for a basketball shoe, which is really interesting. They've been popular my entire life. I've owned pairs my entire life. They're in Rocky. Johnny Knoxville wears them. Everyone wears a pair of Chucks. So I've been wanting to do this one just because I want to see what's inside of probably the most iconic sneakers. Is there a more iconic sneaker? Let me know if there is. I can't think of one. Every time I say this, people are like, you forgot this one. And I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. So now let's talk about the construction. So like I said, vulcanized rubber outsole, canvas upper, and that's really all there is to it. There's not a whole lot to this shoe. I always see failure right around the toe area where it starts to bend. This rubber starts to separate from the canvas, and that's usually where I see failure on these shoes. So I really like these shoes. They're a really good lightweight shoe, but they're kind of uncomfortable. So if I'm gonna be wearing these in the shop standing all day, I usually don't wear Chucks just because they're so uncomfortable, but they're really lightweight for the summers and I like them a lot. They're a nice style. Some people with really big feet don't like how they kind of elongate your foot and make it look really long. So that's just kind of the initial information about the shoe. But to really answer those 3 questions, we need to cut them apart in half and see what's inside. So let's do that. Okay, we got it cut in half. Let's see what's inside. So, super interesting. Every time I think I know what's inside one of these shoes or boots, I'm always wrong. There's actually a lot more of a heel midsole in here than I expected. Ow. So there's probably, let me see how much of a heel this is. Where's my measuring device? Looks like it's about 8 or 9 millimeters worth of a midsole in here. It's actually really low density, kind of like a blown rubber midsole. And then for the ball of your foot, there's nothing between your foot and the outsole. There's like the little, like really low density foam insole, but not a whole lot between your foot and the ground. So that kind of explains why they're so uncomfortable. If there was another layer in there, kind of like on the Vans, where are the Vans? The Vans had a little bit more rubber between the ground and your foot, but these are, it's just, you're basically walking on the ground. That's why when you're walking in these and you step on a rock the wrong way, you definitely feel it. And that kind of brings us to like the next question of why do weightlifters like these shoes? So a lot of people say they like these because they're so flat, but what's interesting is they're not that flat. You know, you've got a raised heel here in the midsole, but it's such a low density. My initial thoughts with this is that when you start wearing these and they're broken in a little bit more, that heel cushioning in the midsole might kind of cup your heel and give you a little bit more stability, but you're still really flat and close to the ground, so you've got that natural grounding feeling of being barefoot. But that's my thoughts. So if you're a weightlifter and you're watching this, let me know what you think of this. That kind of helps answer a couple of the questions, but our last question is this 100% cotton canvas? And the only way to tell is to burn it. So let's burn some of this fabric. But before we do that, actually, let's tear out the rest of this and make sure there's nothing else hiding in there that I wasn't aware of. Because sometimes we find surprises in here. Got the rest all torn apart and nothing else was in there, but it was worth ripping apart for the sounds and just in case there was something hiding in there. So I'm gonna cut some swatches off of these, off the liner and the outside, and we'll burn them and see if they're actually full cotton. And the reason that I want to know if these are 100% cotton is my roommate and buddy Schmoot is making a video on how to hydro dip a pair of Converse. So it's important to know what the material is because the film sticks differently to different types of material. So results of the burn test. So I'm pretty sure the inner and the outer part of the upper is 100% cotton canvas because the ash was a really powdery ash. There was no oozy or gooey stuff that when it was burning, there was no dripping. So that would usually denote 100% cotton or organic material. So pretty sure it's 100% cotton. And that answers the third question. So to wrap it all up, why are they so uncomfortable? It's because there's really not a whole lot between the ground and the ball of your foot. Why do weightlifters like these? How do I say this? I think that they think they like it because they're flat, but I think that what's really happening is they're really flat and you've got some padding at the heel of your foot that after wearing them for a few days starts to mold and cups your foot to give you some extra stability when you're lifting. And then the third question, is it 100% cotton? Yeah, I would say it is. So those are the answers to the three questions, and that's what's inside a pair of Converse. So overall, I still really like these shoes. I'll still own some pairs and I'll still wear them in the summers. They do wear out fast, they are uncomfortable, but they're really lightweight and they're breathable and they're a good summertime shoe and they're classics. Let me know what you think of this video and thanks for all your guys' support. Remember to let me know what you want to do for the Patreon, and I did put that one tier up on Patreon, so I'll put a link to that in the description. And if you want to learn how to hydro dip a pair of Converse, I'll put a link to Schmoot's video in my description. And 100,000 subscribers is coming up pretty soon, so help me make it there. Consider liking and subscribing and commenting and everything else that the analytics demand of you and me. And thanks for all your support. See ya. Look at those knees.